Hello, Money Growth Academy. We've got some major updates about the now finalized $600 stimulus checks that everyone has been promised for months now.
It's bigger than you expected?
Now, most people can expect a new round of stimulus checks to be hitting their bank accounts or mailbox up to next week. The new stimulus bill is a $900 billion economic relief package. Just as a warning though, there are significant differences between this stimulus bill and what we saw during the CARES Act back in March 2020. One of those being the checks have been cut in half from $1,200 to $600 per person. Some people who got one last time may not receive anything, and some of those people who didn't receive anything this time may qualify. There's so much to unpack, so you need to hit that subscribe button right now and make sure you turn on your notifications because there's going to be a whole lot happening over the next few days and you don't want to miss any updates or deadlines. So please hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell because later I'm going to explain how the issuing of these checks is going to be a lot faster than the $1,200 checks. So there's going to be some fast approaching deadlines that you don't want to miss, and I'll make sure you get all the updates as they're released, of course. Now, after nearly 9 months of back and forth bickering between legislators on both sides of the aisles, it looks like we finally have a new stimulus bill. To be honest, I'm not a fan of it, but it's more than I thought they were going to give to people. Just a few days ago, it seemed like another round of direct checks was not going to be included. With some last minute negotiations, a direct check of $600 has been included. Now, social media has unleashed on legislators for only issuing $600 to everyone during a pandemic. Here are some of my favorite memes. Let me know in the comments which meme was your favorite. Getting ready for the holiday season, I was watching Christmas Vacation, and I felt like this scene perfectly described how most people are probably feeling.
It's bigger than you expected? Smaller? What is it?
This isn't the biggest bag over the head punch in the face I ever got. God damn it!
All right, let's break down this bill and cover exactly what you need to know. A few weeks ago on December 3rd, there was a bipartisan group known as the Bipartisan Bicameral Problem Solvers Caucus who introduced what they called the Emergency Relief Framework. Now, Mitch McConnell tried to toss this bill right upon arrival, but with the holidays coming up and programs from the CARES Act getting ready to expire this month, members of the House and Senate both have come together to use the Emergency Relief Framework as a platform to work off and pass this stimulus bill that was just passed. Now, the new stimulus bill is a $900 billion economic relief package. According to some analysts, it's expected that the $900 billion package will provide support from the economy through March 2021. Now, I've got a hard time believing it's going to be enough. If you agree, hit that like button. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has already said that this bill is just a first step. He then went on to say, this is an emergency. We need a second bill to continue dealing with the emergency and to start stimulating our economy. So we get back to where we were, and that will be a job number one for the new Biden administration. Now let's talk about those checks because I know all of you want to know about that. And hit that like button if you're ready for a new round of stimulus checks. So each adult will receive an economic impact payment of $600. If you're single and earn up to $75,000, you'll receive a payment of $600. Married couples earning up to $150,000 will receive $1,200. The specifics haven't been released yet on the income phase outs if you're single and make more than $75,000 or if you're married and make more than $150,000. But we can expect it to be similar to the income phase outs we saw during the CARES Act, where the $1,200 check was completely phased out for people making over $99,000 single and for couples earning over $198,000. Now let me hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Is $600 enough? Now, the checks for adults have shrunk, but if you have a dependent child, you'll see a slight increase. Each dependent child will receive an economic payment of $600. This is $100 more than the $500 we saw in the CARES Act. Now, there are still so many unknowns in this bill when it comes to who's considered a dependent. As of right now, the language of the bill summary says $600 will be directed toward each child dependent. Now, which would mean adults who are claimed as dependents, like college students, would not qualify for the checks. Now, this then makes us wonder whether or not adult dependents, such as seniors claimed as dependents on their adult children's tax returns, would qualify for a stimulus check. Now, if any of these questions apply to you, leave a comment down below in the comment section so we can see how many people are being impacted by the uncertainty of who qualifies as a dependent. Now, here's an example for you guys. Let's say you have a family of 4 who makes under $150,000 a year. This would mean they would receive a total of $2,400 in direct payments. Is that enough? Now, a huge upgrade to this bill is the mixed status household provision, which will actually be retroactive to the CARES Act. Now, a family, for example, with a family member who's an immigrant without a green card would now also qualify for the checks. The last round of checks in the CARES Act only applied to American citizens or immigrants with a green card, so tons of families ended up not receiving the much needed stimulus of $1,200 last time. Okay, let's talk about those delivery dates. Now, Steve Mnuchin, the Secretary of the Treasury, has stated that checks will start hitting bank accounts next week. With the bill being passed this week, that means that the checks will start hitting accounts at the earliest December 28th. Now, hit that like button if you think that's a bunch of BS. Now, the last round of checks from the CARES Act took a few weeks to begin trickling out to people's bank accounts. The bill was signed into law on March 27th, and the first reported checks were reported to have hit accounts around mid-April. However, a lot of people didn't receive their checks until May and June, and some even later than that. Let me know in the comments down below what month you received your check. The government said they got most of those checks out fast, but I would bet that most of you didn't get them for a while. Now let me know down below though, because I'm really curious. So why is Steve Mnuchin so sure that they'll get money into actual accounts by December 28th? Well, according to him, he believes these checks can roll out extremely fast because the government now has millions of people's direct deposit information on hand from the last rounds of stimulus checks and therefore can instantly deposit this new round of $600 checks with all the info they already have on hand. Now, if you received your last check by mail, don't expect this new check of $600 to be coming anytime soon. The rollout of physical checks will be slow like the last round of checks was, and it most likely will work on a tiered system of prioritization based on your income. We're still waiting on updates surrounding those receiving Social Security, VA benefits, and railroad retirement. So if one of those applies to you, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you get an immediate update on any deadlines that are going to be issued. Now, in total, $286 billion of the $900 billion is going to go towards the direct economic relief for workers and families. Of that $268 billion, $166 billion of that will go towards the economic impact payments, or in other words, the stimulus checks. Then $120 billion will go towards unemployment insurance. Now, there will be additional benefits for those out of work. Individuals out of work will continue to receive their standard state unemployment payments, and in addition to that, a bonus of $300 a week through March 14th, 2021. What do you guys think? Is $300 a week enough money for workers that are now unemployed? If you're a gig worker or self-employed worker, there's some good news for you as well. The PUA, or Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, and the PEUC, or Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program, has been extended now. This is much needed because analysts are saying that 6 in 10 consumers have been impacted severely by the pandemic. Let us know down below in the comments if you've suffered income or job loss as a result of the pandemic. Also, please hit that like button so we can make sure that YouTube gets this info in front of all those people who really need to see it. Now, small businesses are also going to be getting some benefits from this new stimulus package. The PPP, or Paycheck Protection Program, is getting another boost of $284 billion of forgivable loans for those who qualify. Now, minority and women-owned businesses that were disproportionately left out of the last round of loans will also have more access to lenders. Nonprofits will be able to qualify in this package, unlike the CARES Act. Now, $20 billion of EIDL, or economic injury disaster loans, is going to be reserved for businesses in low-income communities. $15 billion will be reserved for live venues, independent movie theaters, and cultural institutions. Guys, there is so much to unpack in this economic relief package and how it's going to personally impact you as well as your local economy. And I don't want to overwhelm you with all the info in one sitting. So I'm going to be doing a series of videos taking a deeper dive in breaking down the 12 categories this bill is going to affect, such as small business, transportation, vaccines, rental assistance, childcare, schools, and community development. If you want to stay informed and understand what's going on, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.